last year, before our daughter Kayla's kid-only bat mitzvah party, my wife crafted an email that she sent out to all the parents, and the following is an excerpt from that email. For your advance notice, we intend to bring back the 90s and recreate the full 1991 bat mitzvah season vibe that filled our youth. When your children arrive, their cell phones will be placed in a pouch with their name on it and secured from 7 to 9:30 p.m. The phones will be returned for the last half hour and in time for pickup at 10. Please inform them so there are no surprises. Should there be an emergency during these magical hours, we will both have our cell phones on us at all times. We can't wait for these kids to be fully engaged in the true fun and awkwardness that comes with an internet 5G-free middle school experience. Thanks for your support in making this a good old-fashioned party. See you Saturday night, Julia and Joel Nickerson. When these 12 and 13-year-olds arrived, they apprehensively, some begrudgingly, placed their phones in the bags, entered the party space, and spent the first 20 minutes in what could only be described as an excruciatingly awkward gathering of 90-plus preteens. But then something miraculous happened. The room slowly came alive. They started to talk, then laugh. And since there were only 3 options, the bathroom, the food, or the dance floor, they quickly realized that it was more fun on the dance floor than to sit in the corner. By 8 p.m., the dance floor was packed. There was even some crowd surfing going on. They were making memories, making new friends, becoming themselves in a new way. The transformation was astounding, but it was short-lived. As the party ended and we returned the phones, eye contact disappeared. Laughter ceased. No further memories were created. And as I watched this unfold, it made me think about how much we rely on technology as a tool to avoid the tough situations and uncomfortable decisions. Just a year ago when this party occurred, I would have said that this is the biggest challenge we face with modern technology. We rely on our phones to avoid discomfort, dull our emotional states, and support unhealthy habits. But over the past year, something new has emerged. A new form of technology that we've started to rely on in unprecedented ways. Since the last time we gathered here for the high holidays, more specifically, since November 30th, 2022, term papers, college applications, marriage proposals, relationship breakups, email correspondence, music production, and even sermons have been crafted by a new force in society: ChatGPT and the ever-growing presence of AI technology. Throughout the year, prognosticators have written countless articles and waxed poetic about AI's messianic power or its potential to fast-track a real-life scenario from Terminator and the rise of the machines. Imagine what our future may hold. Every child has an AI tutor who is infinitely patient, infinitely compassionate, knowledgeable, and helpful. Every person has an AI assistant, coach, mentor, or therapist who is infinitely patient and compassionate. AI-augmented artists and musicians and writers and filmmakers will gain the ability to realize their visions far faster and at a greater scale than ever before. Military commanders and political leaders will have AI advisors to help them make better strategic and tactical decisions, minimizing risk and error and even bloodshed. In short, anything that people do with their natural intelligence today will be done with AI. And we will take on new challenges that have been impossible to tackle, from curing diseases to achieving interstellar travel. So at least that's the perspective of well-respected venture capital firms and tech leaders who are investing serious money in AI technologies. Too often in our polarized world, we have a tendency to look at things as all good or all bad, and our views about AI are no different. However, like all things of significance, there's nuance and complexity. Much of this incredible technology is being developed with positive intent and will bring unprecedented positive change in some areas of our lives. At the same time, it is about to get a lot harder to tell the difference between real and fake, between genuine and counterfeit, between honesty and deception. The decisions that we will have to make about how we spend our time, with whom we spend it, and what we decide to prioritize are about to become even more challenging. In a world where AI, artificial intelligence, is guiding us into new, uncharted territory, I believe it is even more critical for us to embrace and uphold a more ancient form of AI, authentic intelligence. Authentic intelligence is our guide to making meaningful, genuine, and lasting decisions. The high holidays, and specifically Yom Kippur, is a time to reflect on our decision-making and the ramifications of those decisions. The Unatana Tokef prayer, which we heard, reminds us that we may not be here next year and forces us to reflect on how we will decide to live each day. With every Al Chet, we beat our chest and think about the litany of mistakes that we make year after year. We betray, we are cruel, we ridicule, we abuse, we are corrupt, we are stubborn. It's a reminder that we are no stranger to poor decision-making. Then there's Shema Koleinu, our plea to God for another chance despite the decisions that pushed us further and further away from our best selves. By spending these days reflecting on our mishaps, reading these prayers, engaging with the texts of our tradition, and reconnecting with the pieces of ourselves that lay dormant, we're prompted to return to the wisdom we've acquired throughout our lives in the hopes that it's going to help us to make better decisions in the future. Now, in our pursuit of wisdom, AI can play a supporting role. After all, it may be the product of circuitry and algorithms, but it is still the distillation of human thought. And so I turn to Rabbi.io, the AI-powered online tool where people can ask an AI rabbi any question they want. And in response to my question about acquiring wisdom, it answered, "Remember, cultivating wisdom is a lifelong journey. It requires dedication, humility, and a commitment to continuous learning and growth. May we all strive to become wise individuals who bring light and understanding to the world." Okay, it's a helpful beginning, a guidepost to inspire deeper quest, but to acquire the wisdom alluded to by Rabbi.io, we have to go analog, not digital. To help us make better decisions in the future, Jewish tradition urges us to focus on two well springs of wisdom, two sources of authentic intelligence. Pirkei Avot teaches, "Who is wise? One who learns from everyone." The first source of wisdom stems from our relationships and the knowledge that we gain from others. Whenever I officiate at a B'nai Mitzvah ceremony, I love the part where we take out the Torah and we pass it down through the generations. Because the Torah scroll becomes more than just a conduit for the values and stories of the 5 books of Moses. As I watch the grandparents and the parents grin from ear to ear as they joyously and very carefully pass the Torah down, I think about what's really being passed down. It's that family's trials and tribulations. It's the successes and the painful losses. It's their hopes and dreams for the next generation. It's the quintessential ritual to showcase the transmission of wisdom. Look, I may not be able to recall quotes by famous authors or retell a joke by heart, but I can absolutely remember the wisdom that has been passed to me by the people who matter. It's the wisdom from my rabbinic mentors, that ongoing learning is essential, that each person's story is sacred. It's the wisdom I gained from my parents and my step-parents and my in-laws, that we are meant to explore the world's beauty and diversity, that love can be rediscovered, and that personal and professional integrity is priceless. It's the wisdom I've gained from my wife, Julia, that honesty is the fundamental building block in a loving relationship, that partnership does not mean you are attached at the hip, and that being a mother is very different than being a father. And from my 3 girls, that each soul comes into this world with its own unique path, that internal beauty can never be diminished, and that adults have much to learn from the resilience of the young. So then, according to our sages, there's the second source of wisdom. And our tradition places an even greater weight on this source, our own lived experience. This is the most authentic of intelligence. Interestingly, we don't gain this second type of wisdom, the wisdom of a lived life, by focusing on our successes. The greatest source is actually our failures. Wisdom is a spiritual attribute, and it's for that reason that Yom Kippur focuses primarily on our faults and our flaws. We learn the fundamental lessons of life through our pain, our losses, and our defeats. The Kotzker Rabbi famously stated, "There is nothing more whole than a broken heart." A midrash teaches that God prefers broken vessels. Our brokenness is the key. It is a gift. It becomes the ultimate source of wisdom by which we can pursue a more meaningful life. We acquire this experiential wisdom when our parents get divorced, and we learn that not all relationships last forever. We acquire this wisdom when we move to a new place and learn to cope with loneliness and fragility, when someone betrays our trust, and we learn to deal with rejection and disappointment, when we experience that health scare, and we learn that we're not indestructible, and that our time on this earth is extremely short. It's when we disappoint or hurt someone else, and we recognize the potential destructive impact that we can have on the world. These are the guides on the path to making better decisions. Here lies the critical difference between cyber intelligence and human intelligence. When computers break, they're useless. When humans break, we grow. When I was in Israel this summer, I was without a phone for 48 hours. And I felt like those preteens who showed up to Kayla's bat mitzvah and had to put their phone in that pouch. It was as if I lost a limb. And I really couldn't fully function until I had another one in my hand. I hate how much I rely on this technology. And at the same time, I know that it's here to stay. And the same goes for the future of AI. We are just scratching the surface of what this technology is going to do to our world, to our relationships, to our choices, to our decisions. We have only entered the early flip phone stage of this technology. Our access to information and to knowledge is going to increase exponentially And there's nothing wrong with that. Just as AI, when used properly, can accelerate progress towards curing cancer or traveling to the stars, it can also help us make progress on our own path towards wisdom. But to get to true wisdom, to the type of intelligence that will guide us through the challenging and complex decisions coming our way, both personally and societally, there are certain things that we just can't delegate to technology. Making the tough but invaluable decisions require something that we can't get from a screen. The wisdom passed to us through the experience of human interaction, and the wisdom that comes from our brokenness. May we all be sealed in the book of human, relationship-filled, screen time enforced life. And let us remember, our goal must be authentic intelligence. Nothing artificial about it. Shana Tova.